inspirational and amazing and incredible Alison Parsons, my dear, dear friend.
I'll leave it there a second so you can do it, sorry.
Is this on?
Yes.
This helped, didn't it? Right, so wait for the first slide.
Brilliant slides. I'm switching.
Right, so as you see, I'm Alison K. Parsons, and today I'm going to introduce you to my 5-step framework, the Great Formula, tell you a bit about myself and the journey that got me to where I am today, and why I love that quote so much. Do what you love and love what you do, and why I want to inspire you to do that. So there's a little bit in the agenda. Sorry, now I'm feeling behind. Right, so yeah, I'm going to tell you a little bit about me, who Alison is, what the Great Formula is, the strategy for the Great Formula, and how to implement the Great Formula in your life. Sorry, keep moving it away. And a conclusion and some tips. So just look at my so who I am. So Alison K. Parsons was born on May the 7th. On May the 7th, 1966, to Cyril and Doreen. And Cyril was a very handsome-looking man, still is, at 6'4", and as you can tell by my accent, came from Bridgewater in Somerset. And as it was then in the 50s, he had to do 2 years national service, and he was located in Durham, in a place called Sedgefield. And my mum, all 4'11" of her, was a nurse in a mental hospital up in Sedgefield. And she walked into a pub one night, and obviously, so my dad, the reason I'm telling you this, my dad, very handsome man, let's just say, got a lot of female attention. But my mum walked into this pub, all 4'11" of her, and I'm going to put it politely. He said, "Look at the boobs on that, I'm going to marry that." And he didn't say boobs. And so he got married, came back to Bridgewater, and as he did sort of then, moved in with the in-laws, had tried to get pregnant to get a council house. So had my sister, Margaret, who was named after my auntie, because where my mum came from, a lot of men, there weren't a lot of men actually, because of the war and things like that, very stalwart women doing things to make money and keep the families going. So my sister's named after my auntie Margaret that helped my nan. And so yeah, and then mum a couple of years later got the council house, tried for another baby, tried, and nothing happened, so they gave up. So my mum, about this time, was about 37, and when she gave up, and there is a meaning to all this, along came me. And as I said, I was born on May the 7th, 1966. Strange thing about me, 6 weeks later I died. I was actually born with a serious bowel condition that manifested itself at 6 weeks old. And my mum was told that this bowel kit, so I was literally rotting from the inside. My bowels were going gangrenous inside me. And they said, the surgeon said to my mum that it was very rare in female children, and to expect that I probably wouldn't survive. You'd only known boy children to survive from this operation. So my dad's at home looking after my mum. I'm in surgery on the operating, tiny little thing on the operating table. So my mum's on her own in a corridor in the early hours of the morning, and so they basically, my mum has a faith, and they suggested they got a minister in because she was Methodist, as most people up in the North East are. And I was christened on the operating table before they started operating me. So mum was obviously very stressed, and she sat in this corridor at 4 o'clock in the morning on her own, and she prayed that I would live. And my mum told me this, I'm getting a bit emotional, I didn't realise it would be, that the whole corridor, she can't explain it, just went peaceful. She felt this immense love in the corridor, and she knew then that everything was going to be alright and I would survive, and she heard me cry. What she didn't know was that I died, and I cried when they resuscitated me and brought me back to life. So when I learnt that story, I thought everything after that is all gravy. So until it wasn't. So some of my first memories were of being bullied. So there's so many people, so many stories I can relate to in the last 2 days in here. And my sister didn't relish the fact that I came along when she was 11 years old and had mum and dad to herself. She wasn't very pleasant to me. Neighbours, school, everything. And I got to about I'm just diversifying. I'm laying in bed this morning thinking about the things that I've got to say, but mum and dad, they both worked their way up into management. My dad was a builder, and I say my mum was a nurse and went on to do other things. And Dad's way of chilling out was driving around these beautiful Somerset hills that we've got, and on a Sunday afternoon, and I was sat in the back of the car, and we came to a junction. I quite clearly seen it. There was this beautiful cottage, but it was completely run down, all ivy and broken windows and whatever. And I had this thought, and I reckon I was about 8 years old, like, oh God, I wish somebody could just give me some money and make that beautiful again. And from then I just had this intention, which is quite unusual for the time, that I didn't want to get married, I didn't want to have children, and I wanted a career. And then I found about architecture, and I wanted to be an architect. I didn't even know what an entrepreneur was, but I had this big vision of going to London, and I was going to, I bet Phoebe and her confidence, it was like, I'm going to be the best architect, and I'm going to go to London, and like, I'm walking around with swanky clothes, and I'm going to have this apartment, and I'm going to have a portfolio, and everybody's going to want to buy my designs and stuff. And then I think it's because of the time, and then things went on, and the bullying, and it just got, like I said, just got a bit too much for me. And I actually got to the point, I mean, I don't even know what it's like now because there's no social media. I used to go home from school and bury myself in my bedroom and get ready for the next day. And I couldn't take it anymore. So, to be honest, I was planning to take my life. And I had said, if something doesn't change, I'm out of here. And then a whole set of synchronicities happened. Went to the dentist, something came up. They found out that I'd been born with a facial defect that didn't really show. My sister's then husband, because she was trying to escape from home, so she got married at 17, he knew somebody from London that moved down to Bridgewater, and he knew somebody, a surgeon in the local hospital, Taunton, and it said, this is odd, you're brushing your teeth correctly, you're left-handed, you're missing a little bit, but something's odd, I'm going to send you to this guy. And this set of synchronicities happened, and I had 2 years prep work on my face, and then I had a 9.5-hour operation when I was 16, had my jaw broken, removed, realigned, different things happen. And that to me was empowering. We talk about empowering, I was a different person then. And so that to me was the first time, looking back and joining the dots, was the first time that I saw the law of attraction in action in my life. So this person that didn't want to get married and have children, etc., but my sister being rebellious and being a bit of trouble, when another one of my earliest memories was laying in bed and hearing my mum and dad argue about my sister and the trouble that she was causing. And again, I moved out of that house when I was 8 years old, so I know that I made a decision very early before that date that I would not cause my mum and dad any problems. I'd be a good girl. So my dad would say things like, so I can relate to different people in this room today, and I didn't think I'd get a boyfriend because I was too ugly. And then I did get a boyfriend, but he was actually quite abusive and he was unfaithful to me. But after I had the operation, I felt very empowered and went out not putting up with this no more. But these patterns, talked about patterns, Sherry yesterday talked about patterns repeating. So I'm very empowered, I'm giving out this positive energy, and then I met somebody. I started seeing people, I felt confident, beautiful, because I'd had the operation, I was getting attention, I was getting walked home after starting clubbing and things like that. And my dad went, you're going to get a name for yourself, you are. So I met someone who my dad liked, and to keep my dad happy, I ended up getting manipulated to marry this man and end up having 3 children. And he was very abusive as well. But at later life, I made a decision in my 20s to go to college and do the art degree that I always wanted to do. Again, I felt empowered. My husband had been away studying, as he calls it, working, sorry, Solely Seed Road, Plymouth. And I came up, and I'd started my, started my college course. And again, I got this empowered woman, and I thought, I'm not going to do this. I'm not putting it up with it anymore. And he left. And then, so I did my degree in college and stuff, and then came out of college all empowered again. I'm going to get a really amazing job, a career kind of thing, and I just get knocked back after knocked back and knocked back. So I ended up, got a job in a factory, seen some synchronicities for that as well, and then I went into the care industry, and I haven't said it, I was just saying this now, that I became very, at school I just wanted to be invisible because I didn't want to be bullied. I tried to hide out of the way. I was going to do a Lisa Nichols kind of thing, that I felt like a freak in school, and I was just thinking, woo woo, who'd say yes, yes, who has been there and felt that, and I see people nodding. So, and then I said, I feel that my life is all by accident, really. I've just followed inspiration and intuition, and I went into the care industry, and sorry, I'm going to get emotional. And that wasn't I didn't have a very nice experience in that. I'd worked my way up into leadership and management and things like that. And I am grateful because two people that know me best in the whole world are in this room. One of them came with me today, Emma. But in that job, I was actually being bullied as an adult as well. So I was repeating that process. And so 2010, I'm in management. I progressed up, so my former boss, when I went up, we were on the same level. So when I was her employee, it was all good. But when we on the same level, she started to bully me. And it was little comments in management meetings and took me down and then I lost my voice and I lost myself and I was so unhappy. And then I had problems with my relationship, my children became estranged. And then one day in June 2010, Emma knows this bird we called her, didn't we? Lisa. And I was due to go out on my birthday in May with some friends and then go on holiday with one of my best friends, Sarah, to Turkey. Bird didn't turn up. Nobody could get hold of Bird, Lisa. And I went on holiday and I got back and found, because Lisa had health issues, and something had gone wrong and she was in a coma and they didn't think that she was going to live. And I keep on with time. And I was in so much pain. It was like, why me? Why is this? I'm a good person. Why am I was estranged from my parents. I stood up for myself to my dad, and we didn't stop speaking to him because, like you said, I wasn't taking it anymore. I set boundaries. I'm not having it. I'm sorry. So I wasn't speaking to my parents. I was in trouble with my teenagers. One of my best friends had died. I was being bullied at work. I was like, why is all this happening to me? And someone introduced me to personal development, and I was reading personal development book after personal development, but hoping for this, sitting on the sofa with the books, hoping for this magic thing to come down and, the life that I envisioned would just arrive. And so on the Saturday morning after Lisa passed, I was in so much pain, and I was back to that 13-year-old again. I was screaming at the wall, at God, whatever. I just can't take this anymore. I'm out of here. And it swear blind, people have different beliefs, but a voice in my head said, go and get the magazine, go and get the newspaper article that you hid away. And I stopped, and there was that kind of peace in the room. And I was like, oh yeah, it was me and my partner were going out on a Sunday. I'd seen this double-page spread about a soap actress that had created the life of her dreams through Post-it notes. And I thought, well, I want to read that. But he was like, are you ready? We're going then? And the next day was recycling, so I took the double-page spread out, put it somewhere and put the paper out for recycling, forgot all about it. I believe there's divine timing and everything happens for a reason. And this is, go and get that article. So I got the article, read it, and it was about a book, and you might have heard it, The Secret. So I immediately went on what was then this amazing website for just books only, Amazon, read about it and ordered 2 copies. And even though that book wasn't going to come until the Thursday, and this was Saturday morning, I just felt this peace. Everything was going to be all right. I don't know why. And it actually came earlier, and I read the book, and then I seen where I was going wrong. I was reading book after book after book, and they had advice in them, but I wasn't taking any advice. I wasn't taking any actions. I was just going to the next book, hoping for the next big thing to happen. And I thought, that's what it is. It's like, and if you're at law of attraction, what you think about, you bring about. A lot of people think law of attraction, and they hear about it, and it's positive stuff. Just write this down, write your affirmations and manifest it. But nobody thinks that it's actually what you think about, you bring about. It's negative and positive. What you think about, even if you don't want it, what you resist persists. So if you think, I don't want to be in debt, I don't want this, and that's all you're focusing on and not the other stuff, that's what you attract. That I was doing. I was like, poor me, why me? And I was just attracting more and more pooey situations, to be honest. Sorry, I'm huffing a bit on this. And that changed my life. But then I thought, yeah, what action can I take? And it was like the voice that told me to go and get that article said, get up 10 minutes earlier every day and start writing things you're grateful about. So that's what I did. Set my alarm, come downstairs quietly, bought myself a nice journal. In 10 minutes a day, I wrote things. And I just wrote that I was grateful, that I had a lovely warm bed to sleep in, I had a roof over my head, I had hot and cold running water, because there's a lot of people that haven't got that in this world. And that's all I did. And then I learned about affirmations, so I related to what you said. So I started writing affirmations. And in The Secret, I came across a guy called Bob Proctor. And he said he did affirmations like, I'm so happy and grateful. So I know she's going to nod now. The first thing that I always wrote was, I'm so happy and grateful for my health. Because you haven't got anything if you haven't got health, number one.
Yeah.
So every morning I write, I'm so happy and grateful for my health. And then things like the bed that I slept in, the roof over my head, my body, my eyesight, my ears and stuff like that. But I did start to have to write like little lists of things that I wanted to do. And subconsciously I created this morning routine for myself. And a few weeks later I realised that I started waking up happier and things started to get better and the pooey things, I should say, didn't sort of happen. And then I had belief then that this is working for me, and I started doing the affirmations and that, create this morning routine. And I actually manifested myself out of that job with that person, and then I had more belief again in the law of attraction. But that shy girl that was bullied I wanted to get other people to be happy. I wanted to share this message, and I didn't know how. And I also loved Bob Proctor and Wayne Dyer. I started reading lots of Wayne Dyer stuff, and you know, because you helped me create my website, I read this thing that said, don't die with your music still in you. So I thought, I've got to get this out here, but I'm so shy and so scared. I just tuned into myself and thought, I need to write, I love writing, so I thought that, and synchronicities happened. I was on a coach to London to go to an art gallery, because that's the thing that feeds my soul. I was reading Wayne, and I read this thing about don't die with your music still in you, and I created a blog called The Law of Attraction Lover, so that I could hopefully inspire other people, but keep my anonymity because I was too shy. So that's why I got a hashtag called hashtag the LOA Lover. And then, sorry, I've lost my way a little bit. So yeah, then Bob said something that stuck with me about successful people have multiple streams of income. You know, if you trade in time for money, there's only so many hours a day. And this entrepreneur came back into me, and I wrote a goal card. And I have forgotten a bit, but it's something that I did go and do my degree, and you're going to see something in the framework in a minute. That a guy came and gave us a lecture, and he said his work has inspired that everything is energy. He said, this lectern, that chair, everything is molecules, it's not solid, it's all vibration. Everything in this universe is vibration. We're vibration, we're molecules. All my peers all laughed at him. Something was like, boom, in my stomach. I was like, yeah, I get that. So I just stood back quiet. I was like, I don't know why, I know it, you're all laughing at him, but I get it. And I look back now and join the dots that I realised I went to university for 2 years and I created my finals, and I was only there to hear that, I think, looking back. At university, I aspired to, thought I had to do this thing, didn't need it. It was already in me, but that's what I seen it for. And then Bob and his multiple streams of income talked about a goal card. So I decided I was going to write a goal card. And I wrote this goal card, and I put it, I thought, what can I put it on? I put, I'm successfully self-employed, doing what I love, loving what I do. So that's why I was passionate about that. And then another set of synchronicities happened, and my life got pretty pooey. I'm just going to use pooey, I'm not going to use potty mouth. But then, weirdly, I manifested my first business called Love Ducks, and I started using social media. And then I was also training to be a driving instructor at the time because I wanted to be self-employed. But I realised when I went to do the training, it's like walking through mud. But when I did the ducks, it was just like time just flew, and I loved it, and I wanted to do it full time, but I needed to create like full-time income from it. And I surrendered it to the universe. And then I was meeting my amazing friend over there, Emma, for lunch. And the day before, lots of things had gone wrong. And I'm a bit of a OCD, ADHD kind of person, and I wanted to like everything to go right on Saturday. And it went so right that I was very early. And Emma might not even know this, but there's a little area in town, so I got into town early. It was a beautiful sunny day, so I sat there and did my gratitudes. I'm so grateful that I've got eyesight to see that, fantastic. Hanging basket, the blue sky, I can hear the birds singing, I'm grateful for that. And then where we were going to meet, there was a little alleyway that I could have gone up, but there was this little arcade in Bridgewater called the Avenue, and I thought, I'm going to walk up the Avenue, I haven't been up there for ages, I'm going to have a look and see what's up there. And met Emma, and we had lunch, and she was just talking about something that she was doing in her life, which was network marketing. So Bob Proctor, multiple streams of income, I'm thinking of, my love ducks, I want full-time. I've seen this as an opportunity, so I'm like probably the easiest recruit ever to network marketing, because I was like, babe, can you do me a favour? Can you come around my house next week and explain this to me? So I signed myself up to network marketing, and I could see that network marketing was like a passive income that created that location freedom kind of thing, but being in Love Ducks was like time bound. Then the day that we met, my partner was on a stag do. So next day I was going to a craft fair with the ducks and things like that, and he was going to help me, but he actually fell asleep, and he came about 4 o'clock in the evening, and when we were packing up, and I've been there all day, not had a week, not had something to eat, because I couldn't leave the stall. He said, I'm sorry, I'm going to take you out for dinner, where do you want to go? So I said, God, I've been smelling roast dinners all day, can we go for a roast? And we went for, and he said, I've been thinking, he said, this driving thing, he said, it's going to take this much to set up, why don't we invest the money because he helped see the opportunity for Love Ducks. Why don't we invest the money and open a shop? And if it don't work out, you can go back to driving. I said, it does this thing goes into what I call scroll hole. So we sat opposite table, and he gets his phone out, and I'm talking. So I was with Emma yesterday, and I walked up the avenue, and he suddenly turned his phone round, and it was a shop that I'd seen that was vacant in the avenue, and he said, phone them up on Monday. And so I had my first business, I had network marketing, etc. And because of network marketing and Emma, I had only just joined, and something was going on. The poo was hitting the fan, and I didn't know what was going on. And this amazing woman over here did a live on a Sunday, and she was talking about compliance and doing things, and I very much like compliant and doing things properly.
Yeah.
And there was something in my stomach, and I just couldn't leave it alone. I thought, I've got to speak to this. Like you did with Liz, I was like, I've got to speak to you. I've got to speak to you. And we stayed on the phone for about 2 hours, and you gave me all this advice, and I wrote all these notes. And then I said to Emma, I've just met this amazing woman, she's given us all this advice, and that's where our friendship started. But I set this scene that I knew now that I wanted to do things. Obviously, Rebecca's an amazing coach, but I wanted to do something that was 24/7, brought money in, that and build things that I can be anywhere in the world. And I had this business, so I was painting these ducks. My thing was a blue ocean strategy kind of, and I was trying to do them differently, like nobody else. So the artist in me, when people would come in, and I write down in my book, and I'd create things like superheroes and stuff like that, but it always took longer than I wanted to. I'm looking at the time, so I got to get on this strategy. And then in network marketing, so there's loads of personal development, so it suited me. I found like the most positive people that I've been looking for in my life, but they would come up with strategies and things to do, like 90-day runs. And the minute I tried to do this, a curveball would come. It wouldn't work out. But then something else would happen, and it just work out for me. And yeah, so that's then I tapped on this thing accidentally, and then I started to see things. You might have seen it yourself if you're on Facebook or something. You click on something, you get a freebie to go on an email list, and then you see a product and kind of thing, and there's this automated funnel. And I thought, what's all that about? And because I tapped on this thing, I found out about sales funnels. And then there was a training on there, I wanted to do this channel, and it talked about using sales funnels for network marketing. I was like, this is what I've been wanting to do. And so I started doing this challenge, and I came up inadvertently with the strategy. So sorry, this took a long time to get where I am today. Yes, sorry, I should say move on. You know about who I am. So what is the great formula? So from me just telling you my story, you can see that once you make a decision, the universe conspires to make it happen. I believe that because I've seen that happen. but I've also seen it happen effortlessly rather than me trying to make things work. So I believe if you follow these 5 steps, you can transform your life. So we can go to the next one. So the first step is gratitude. The first step in the process, I'll go into this more deeper, I just want to go through the strategy at the moment, and is to be grateful for everything, and I'll explain that more in a minute. The next one is take responsibility for everything, and I mean everything. So when I was that poor me, why is everybody happening to me? I found out about the law of attraction, but I wasn't willing to forgive and forget and take responsibility for my abusive ex-husband or this person or that person. I really couldn't get my head around it until I read something, and then it made sense to me. And I believe that everybody is born with a divine purpose and a skill and a gift, and that's the experience that you've had, and your passions turn that key. And then action unlocks the door to freedom, but not just any action, so I'll explain that in a minute. So like I said, I was reading these books, but I wasn't taking any action, so you have to take action. And then embrace the last thing is transformation. So embrace the dot and dig your ditches now. And I'll explain that as well in a minute. Thank you. So when I say the first step in the process is gratitude and be grateful for everything, what I found personally, and I've heard this a lot in this room today, is actually it's the pooey things, they're like, why me, why is this happening to you, that makes us the people we are. So when we're in an uncomfortable situation, just try and have the faith and trust that it's happening for a reason, to make you the person, or give you your message, or there's a reason behind it. And like I said, when I say take, so since, and Rebecca mentioned it yesterday, actually after I come up with this process and digital assets, and then I made it all, I've been working towards it, to subsidise my income for, I still had love ducks, and the footfall was going down and the money was going down, but I thought, it's all right, I'll build these, I was going to build this network marketing funnel, but what happened was people kept coming to the shop, and so I'd do the orders, put them away, thought, right, I'm going to focus on this now, and somebody would turn up, and then somebody else would turn up, and I was getting so frustrated. I was so focused on this action of, I've got to do this, this and this to achieve this result. And what was happening, these people were turning up, and I was helping them from the things that I was learning, and then one day it was a big knock on the head. It was like these curveballs. I realised that the universe was trying to say, you're not meant to be doing that, you're meant to be doing this. And I helped these people, and I thought, that's what I'm supposed to be doing. It's not about, the network marketing is part of it, but who I am, and what I'm learning is I can help people. So in Ho'oponopono it says, it's not our fault but for what's happened to us, but we are responsible for where we take it and what we do next. So it's my most passionate thing is that experience. When I look back, the reason I told you my story and went on a little bit, is now when I look back, everything happened for a reason, to give me the skills to get me where I am today, to be what my vision is and helping people. We've all been on journeys, good or bad, we've all picked up skills. I reckon that our passion, that's what's behind it all. We're all born with a divine purpose, I think, and our express. I don't know if you've seen the film Catch Me If You Can, but one of the mentors that actually helped, that I've used to create this, actually said he got to interview the actual person from Catch Me If You Can, and he said, how did you end up being a lecturer, lecturing all these students? And if I could tell it briefly, basically, he actually wanted to date this woman, so he wanted to be a lawyer or something like that. So he turned up at this university class, unbeknown to him, the lecturer had gone sick, and all the class were waiting for a relief teacher, but because he was an older student, when he walked in, they assumed he was the lecturer. And they said, how did you get away with that for a whole term? He said, I stayed one chapter ahead. Nobody was reading the textbook. They came into class and they were told to turn to page whatever. He took the textbook home and started reading a chapter ahead and then going back and teaching it to them. We all have that. We all have experience. There's someone out there that wants to do what we're good at, and we're one step ahead of them, and we can use our experience to do what we love and love what we do and teach it to other people. And that's our gift. That's our purpose in life. That's the service we're meant to give, is to train people. are a skill so that they can wake up happy and do what they love. I said there's action, and I believe now this law of attraction. It's interesting what you said yesterday about the male and the feminine. When I did this course, so when I launched my bits and pieces I wanted to launch, and I realised my passion was about helping women, because people would come into my shop and they were, oh, isn't it horrible when you get to our age and get the aches and pains? Isn't it horrible and they were just giving up on their life. My life was just coming together. I was just starting to do what I wanted to do. I was finally waking up happy every day. And I would put myself into an energy bubble, because I couldn't. I try and escape what we were saying yesterday, like escape negative people, but I couldn't escape them. They were my customers, and I'm still there listening to all this, and I'm thinking, yeah, I'm overweight at the moment, but I'm like, I'm feeling fantastic. Got no aches and pains. I'm living my life. I wanted to share that message, but I believe so. Law of attraction is like an action kind of thing. The masculine, and then there's Ho'opono, which is an inspired action. It's a different one. And I believe sometimes I realise now I had a hard time. So when I launched all those things, I wanted to learn. So it was crickets, to be honest, and that's why I talk about digging your ditches. I just oh sorry. Yeah, back to yeah, I've lost my plot now. And yeah, so I had a vision about helping women over 40 see that it's never too late. And I've learned skills about building sales funnels and stuff like that. And I wanted to share that message, so I created a Facebook page called Fabulous Freedom Over 40 to inspire women. Sorry guys in the room, but I just feel that's where I am. That's my mission. That's my purpose. Sorry, Steve, don't look at me, Lana. But actually, that's where I thought I was. And then when I launched everything, I got crickets. So I was like, right, what now? And my intuition said, study Ho'oponopono. And I actually battled. I am a certified advanced law of attraction practitioner, thanks to Rebecca. And I've seen the Ho'opono course, and Rebecca put me onto Ho'opono to help me when I was in stressful times. And it said, do that course. But I battled with it made a lot of sense to me, but it was hard to resonate too. So, and making my speech today, I'm not going on too long, but I didn't know how I was going to do it, because I'm learning personal development every day, taking on something new every day. I'm a different person every morning. I'm a different person yesterday afternoon till I walked in here. I'm a different person when I walked in this morning, when I went out to lunch and come back, so I'm getting all this information. So now I've seen people in certain ways, and I have a mission to help see. Most of the things that have happened in my life have happened effortlessly with no hard work, and I started to see that, and Ho'opono made sense to me. And I see people on the internet going, you've got to work 18-hour days, and you can't have a TV, and you can't watch Netflix, and if you want this, you've got to delay your life, and your family thank you for it later, and to make this money and freedom. No, I don't get that. That don't work for me and my heart and my gut. So I feel like I have a message to create a Ho'opono business way, a way of easy life. So when I say people hate change, but we do change in every experience we have. So we're in a dot now. Embrace the dot we're in, but accept that there could be a next dot tomorrow and a next dot from what you take on board. So yeah, so the first step in the process is gratitude for absolutely everything. And I'm into neuroscience, and I believe none of us knew how to ride a bike. None of us, really knew how to drive a car. We learned that we had to build a neural pathway in our brain, and once it's there, so I used to make this list. I'm terrible for going off on a tangent, but I literally had to write a list and tick it off to feel like I was progressing somewhere, like Phoebe was saying. But I've actually trained my brain now that when I'm like this in the morning, I'm like, okay, I'm waking up, and I start saying those gratitudes. I start saying, I'm grateful for the roof over my head, etc. And I said, you're not responsible. What's happened to you, it's not your fault, but take responsibility for it. That gives you your power back. Because I think when you're blaming other people, like I was, and say, why me and why me, it's like trying to drive a car with a handbrake on. But I believe if you take responsibility, and okay, it's not my fault, but I'm in charge, and I decide right now where I'm going in the future. To me, it's like taking the handbrake off, and it's like driving a Ferrari, because you're in control then. So, and I forget education, like I said, I've already jumped in. I believe I felt I had to have a degree in art to get to where I wanted. When I'd done it, I look back now, I believe I was only there to hear about everything, this energy, because I joined all the dots. So, in Ho'oponopono, they talk about zero. So I have got my cards here just to remind me, so I just look at and whiteboards. So you talked about and Jenny was talking about meditation. So when you get in, you meditate. They say you go to zeros, like everything's a whiteboard. So what happens on your computer file when you delete something? Where does it go?
Recycling?
Yeah, it goes in the recycling bin. So you think you've deleted it, but it's really in the bin. It's still on your computer. So as we are growing up, we take on other people's beliefs and stuff like that. And it's almost like it's a software program. It's in our brain, but it's in the delete basket, but we haven't actually got rid of it. And it's running there subconsciously. So these are those things that I'm not good enough, I'm not this, that and the other. It's still there. And I learned that, I said that you've got to have, get rid of negative beliefs. If you're going to make any progress, that's what's blocking you. Pono says if you say the 4 phrases, you're clearing out those negative beliefs. You don't have to dig them up and have a look at them, but you're clearing that out. And it talks about whiteboards. And like the level 2 of law of attraction is that if you want to manifest something, you're being proactive action. But you could be, sorry, I thought I tipped it over. That was yes. So here's your whiteboard. And you've got a goal here and you want to achieve something. This little dot down here, and I want a 5-bedroom house, and I've got those things. I've got those things that I want to do, and drive this car, and I want to do that. Actually, what the universe wants to give you could be completely off the whiteboard. But if you're focusing on this dot over here, you're limiting what. So it's more about inspiration access. So the process that I've got from Pono is going to, before you do anything, it's going to sort of meditation, get to zero. Just listen to see what the inspiration is, and then taking attention and follow that inspired action rather than action. Because I've learned that whenever I take action, I get roadblocks. But if I release and surrender, so I actually say, maybe you've heard law of attraction, ask, believe, receive. I now say ask, believe, surrender, and just I relate to what you said this morning, because Napoleon Hill, and it was like this is the process to get what you want in life, and set a date and a goal. And I always found I set the date, and as I got closer to the date, it's not happening, it's not happening, it's not happening. And then I get to that date, I failed, it didn't happen. And then when I'm not doing anything, that's when everything manifests far better than I'd intended. So I say, accept the process, it's the journey, not the destination. Be happy, excited about the change. So I believe repetition is the mother of skill. That's how I learn. You're not perfect on the same time. You have to go over it again. So if you just go through it again. So the 5 steps of is gratitude. Wake up, be grateful for everything. Take responsibility for your life. That's the law of attraction, level 2. Your experience, your gifts are out there to help somebody. Everything you've been through. And then try to come from inspired action rather than action, but sometimes we need that action. And then accept transformation. So I came across something called the 4 levels of consciousness. And this is to me, by me, through me, as me. So level 1 is to me, it's like why me? Why is everything happening to me? By me is the level 2, where you decide, make an intention and you do something. Level 3 is through me, that's the surrender. And then level 4 is as me, because we're all made up exactly the same stuff as this universe is made up. So if you believe in God or the universe or divinity, we are divinity as well. So we are capable of everything. So I have a vision, I say that I believe there is a way that we can create a living using the internet to share our gifts with the world and wake up happy every day doing what we love and loving what we do. And that creates a lifestyle, and I believe that everything is built a brick, and we're building a foundation. I want to create a community about that, and I have a manifesto, so I believe we're freedom empire builders. So I'm just looking for that one. So the manifesto is for the Freedom Empire Builders, is a Freedom Empire Builder is someone who wakes up happy every day with gratitude for where they are and envisions where they are going and takes full responsibility for their actions because they know it is the key to freedom. They use their skills and expertise, follow inspired action to share their passion and purpose-based messages to the world, and therefore empowering others to see that they too can do what they love and love what they do while building multifaceted empires that create time, location, and financial freedom, thus leaving legacies along their transformational journey to inspire the next generation of passion-based business builders. So I've got a couple of tips I know I've gone over. So before, what you said about if you're overthinking, think that you're in a movie and say cut. And you're like, just imagine the set, and you can go on to the next thing. So you're deleting the scene. And one thing that I found recently, I found that you had thought about these clearing these blocks. They're always going to be that data. You're going to have to clear that data out all the time. So the phrase I like to say is when I know that I've got a block or something because I feel my body gets hot, and I say, I will not worry, I let go and trust. And there's a fifth element in so the whole Pono phrases Rebecca put up yesterday is, I'm sorry, I love you, please forgive me, thank you. You can say it in any order. The fifth phrase is, I forgive myself, which is a new clearing phrase. And I do a thing, like I said, with the energy bubble. Put yourself in an energy bubble when there's negative people, sometimes you can't always escape. And I literally stood there and just visualised myself in this bubble and think, you are not, and I want you to know, you are not your body, you are a physical being in a physical business, having a physical experience. It's like you said, Steve, it's those faults, you're not your faults, you're the person observing your faults. So remember, you are worthy exactly as you are, and that you are brilliant exactly as you are, because you're made out of stardust. So how can you not be worthy and brilliant? So that's it. When you get all the data and everything, the real you, the whiteboard, the zero, has none of the data. You're perfect exactly as you are. You are worthy as you are. Sorry, I've gone on a bit too much. Thank you.
Yay, round of applause for Ali.